Developing tonight, the judge in the Trinidad Chambliss case is now asking for an explanation from the attorneys representing the NCAA. In the order to show cause filed yesterday, Chancellor Robert Whitwell is requiring the attorneys to personally appear before the court to explain why they left the courtroom February 12th before the hearing ended. The judge says in the order their departure was made without getting the court's prior permission and approval. The judge adds the matter will be addressed at a later proceeding and the court will decide whether some form of sanctions are appropriate. The judge ruled in the hearing Chambliss is eligible to play another year for Ole Miss football.